TikTok, time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all around the world. It's the sizzle and the dizzle once again. David Wood, Sam Shamoon. We are going to talk about Zakir Naik, ladies and gentlemen. Zakir Naik, the man who has never faced one actual debater in his entire career, but is somehow known as a champion debater. And this is very, very interesting. But Zakir Naik commented on us recently, saying that we're basically not, we're not good enough we're not at his level. And it's interesting, the reason Zakir Naik finally had to comment was Muslims for years have been going to him, could you please refute these Christian apologists? Why don't you take out Sam Shamoon and David Wood and Christian Prince and James White and Jay Smith and William Lane Craig? Why don't you take out these Christian apologists? And for years, Zakir Naik, no, they're beneath me. They're not good enough for me. They will not bring 20,000 or a million or however many he wants to a debate. They won't do it. Therefore, they're unworthy of me. When this guy has never faced one actual debater in his entire career. So when you'll notice when Zakir Naik faces anyone, it's either one, someone who doesn't know anything about Islam, or two, someone that he can overpower with rhetoric. Those are the two categories. You've never once seen him face someone who has carefully studied Islam and who can match his level of rhetoric. Never once. Never once. And he never will. It's actually a brilliant tactic. Years ago, he debated like 2 or 3 people. And Sam, I found this out because back when I started, I kept hearing, oh, Zakir Naik is the guy who's schooling everyone. Zakir Naik is the one who's crushing all the Christians. And Muslims kept telling me, Zakir Naik has refuted all of your best debaters. I said, oh, really? So I went and I ordered the Zakir Naik collection on DVD. I got the Zakir Naik debate collection. And I was like, cool, now I get to see all these debates. And I got it, and there were 2 debates on there. The rest were lectures. I was like, wait, did they leave all of the debates out by accident? What happened? I heard he's been going around debating everyone for all these years. What's going on? And turns out more like he's debated 2 people way back in the day, and then has never once faced an actual experienced Christian debater, even though everyone's challenged him. And so he's responding and saying, oh, David Wood's trying to get attention. Guys, my claim has never been Zakir Naik needs to debate me. It's just, right, could he debate one actual debater? And Sam, I don't mean to hurt your feelings.
No.
I don't mean to hurt your feelings here. But I know how you feel about Bruce Lee.
Oh man, don't say that, man. Don't go.
And you know how I feel about Bruce Lee, right?
Yeah, man.
And you believe that Bruce is the best ever, and my position is not that he's not. My position is until I see him take a punch to the face, I don't know. So until I actually see a man in a fight, I don't. Yeah. I just don't know. So this is kind of an odd comparison to make to Zakir Naik, because Zakir Naik is nowhere on the level. If you're comparing, martial arts world and apologetics world or scholarly, scholar of religion world, Zakir Naik is nowhere near Bruce Lee. He's kind of he's more like one of these guys who, what would we compare him to? What would he be in like the martial arts world? He'd be like you know who he'd be?
I'll tell you who.
You tell me who you're thinking of, and then I'll tell you who I'm thinking of.
The guy Frank.
Oh,
Dukes.
Frank Dukes. There you go. Oh, perfect. No, that's better than the one I came up with.
Yeah, Frank Dukes, man. I had someone else in mind, but Frank Dukes.
Frank Dukes. Oh, man. Zakir Naik, the Frank Dukes of Islamic apologetics. You guys remember who Frank Dukes is? That's a guy who was famous. Jean-Claude Van Damme played him in Bloodsport. And supposedly, Frank Dukes came back and was telling all these stories about how he's undefeated, and he went to the Kumatai and dominated the Kumatai and all this stuff. He's telling all these stories about all these people he's destroyed. And then, he's on the cover of magazines and he's doing interviews about how he's destroyed everyone. Turns out no one could find any evidence that he'd ever fought anyone. And he still claims that it's all true, but no one could find a shred of evidence that he'd ever been anywhere or fought any of the people that he was claiming that he'd fought. And so, I was going to use the example of there's this young boxer who claims that he's actually the champion of the world and he's destroyed everyone. And basically he goes around to different dojos, says he wants to spar, just do some light sparring. And as soon as they start, he tries to annihilate the person with a sucker punch. And then the person realizes what's going on, beats him up, and he runs out and claims that he's a champion. So that's who I was thinking of. Yeah. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're pretty laid back. And let people now, guys. We were not trying to talk about Bruce Lee. We were trying not. We were not trying to talk about Bruce Lee. My point is, yes, we've. If it was just his movies, I would not say we could make any sort of judgment, because you could make a movie starring David Wood and Sam Shamoon, and we would look like the greatest martial arts masters in the world, because it would be choreographed that way. But as Sam often points out, people who knew him said that he was really, really, really good. So people that I do trust said that Bruce is really, really, really phenomenal. But again, until I see you get punched in the jaw or kicked in the jaw, I don't know if you can actually stand up in a fight. So don't know, right? But anyway, that's kind of Charlie Zelenoff. Naftali Abella said it's Charlie Zelenoff. That's the guy who claims he's like 200 and something and in fighting. So you know what's funny? He went and challenged Floyd Mayweather's dad. So Floyd Mayweather's dad started tagging him. And anyways, claimed that he's beaten all these guys. Anyway, that's what we hear about the wonderful Zakir Naik. But this is Muhammad Week. And ladies and gentlemen, what happened was, notice that on Monday we had Hatun on with us. And today we're just going to be going through some Zakir Naik clips